Hello and welcome back to some more F1 2020 and part 30 of my team career mode with Jordan GP. In today's episode we have the Baku Grand Prix in Azerbaijan. Really looking forward to it. Thank you very much for the support on the series so far. Really do appreciate it. If you are enjoying it, hit that thumbs up button down below and also subscribe for daily F1 2020 content. But today, I do want to ask you a question, actually, of whether you would prefer it if it was every 2 days. Now, obviously, you know, people that are tuning in every day will obviously say keep it daily, but if you are struggling to keep up with the daily uploads of this series, would you like to see it move to bi-daily, for instance, and maybe 4 times a week, along with the snooker as well? Obviously, golf is coming out soon as well, so that is something else to consider if you're interested in watching that. But let me know down in the comments. But yesterday we had a wonderful Grand Prix around Monaco. Yes, we were unlucky to not get the podium, but our first ever pole position, showing the true potential of the car. You can see we're clearly at the second best team at the moment, and we have got 1700 resource points once again to develop the car even further. And I must agree with, I think it was Matthew Wood down in the comments section who said, yeah, maybe the progression is a little bit too quick on this game. And I think I totally agree. I think much like F1 2016 when the R&D system first came in, you could upgrade your car very quickly and become the fastest team within a season and a half, and that's exactly what's happened here. And I think it's because we're getting double the resource points now. You obviously wouldn't normally get that in a career mode. So one suggestion that he made was to make things more expensive, and I agree with that. I think potentially you could have 2 R&D trees in terms of you could have your own car one and your teammates one, and potentially you would have to upgrade them both, or maybe not. you might just upgrade your own, but your teammate will be slow, and I think that would make a bit more sense of sort of when you're making a downforce upgrade. You want to make it for both cars, so therefore it would cost you double the resource points, and it would just take a lot longer to get through. Maybe reduce the failure rates in that case, just to try and balance it out a little bit. But yeah, we've got another major upgrade that we can get today. We can only play what's in front of us at the end of the day. There are a couple of chassis upgrades we could make, and that one is absolutely huge. The lightweight wheel rims, that would take us to by far the best chassis on the grid in time for the French Grand Prix, which I think would be pretty decent. Another engine upgrade. I think we're okay on the engine front at the moment. I think we can hold off on an engine upgrade for now. We could, of course, go ahead and get a bit more downforce on the car as well. So front wing turning valves or something on the halo to really increase the downforce of the car. But with the upcoming Grand Prix, I think I'm going to go for the chassis upgrade. I think it is the biggest upgrade that we can possibly do at the moment, and hopefully we'll get that in time for the French Grand Prix in a couple of days' time, which will be absolutely awesome. And as you can see, that in theory takes us to the best team on the grid. Now, obviously, that will probably change because Mercedes will no doubt do some upgrades before the next Grand Prix, but things are looking good. We finished 4th, 5th and 4th in the last 3 Grand Prix. Things are looking good. Hopefully we can have another strong qualifying session, so why don't we find out how we get on. Well, we come through with a 1 minute 40.4. I don't think that was the best lap that we can come up with. I might actually go around again on these tyres and just try and secure our position in Q2, but it should be enough anyway. Quicker than Albon and just slightly short of our teammate Perez, but definitely more in the car than that. As I said, much better potential in the car and half a second quicker than we were on our first lap, and that goes within a tenth of Sebastian Vettel, so that should be nice and comfortably through to Q2, faster than our teammate, and on a lap old tyres that's very, very promising. Well, there you go, comfortably through to Q2 in third position. Both Ferraris, 1 and 2 there. Perez finishes in 6th, but the Mercedes looking nowhere. Hamilton 7th, Bottas all the way down in 14th. Mick Schumacher, Nicholas Latifi, Kevin Magnussen, Romain Grosjean, George Russell and Antonio Giovinazzi are the 6 unlucky drivers to drop out in Q1. Well, let's do something that we haven't done for quite a while in this series. Let's take it on a lap of the circuit and I can just show you how good this car feels. Now, we are going to try and look after these tyres throughout this session because I don't think we need to push as hard as we maybe usually do to get through to Q3. But we will obviously have another chance to run on a second set of tyres if we need to, but a very, very strong first sector. And coming through this second sector area, a little bit of curve there which has lost us maybe a tenth of a second, but certainly not too much at all. I love this section through the castle. We hit the wall a little bit there, which is very easy to do around here, very, very tight up against the wall, but you can see we can fly through the castle section, and that is what is helping us in this qualifying session so far. The pace of this car is absolutely amazing. Spot your braking point well there, and you can get an excellent run down towards this all-important final corner, really. You need to get a good exit onto this pit straight, because if you don't, you're going to find yourself a few Ks down as you come across the line. But that was pretty good. It's not been the perfect lap by any means, but this should be easily enough to get us through to Q3. We come up to the line. What's it going to be? It's a 1:39.7, which currently puts us in third place behind Lewis Hamilton and Lance Stroll, but you know, we might be able to do a little bit better than that, but I don't think we'll need to at this stage. Well, there you go, once again, comfortably through to Q3 then, 5th place, 10th of a second behind Charles Leclerc and Sergio Perez, who got very, very close to being top in Q2. Lewis Hamilton in 3rd there, catching up in Q2. And Lance Stroll, a big surprise in the race and point to be that far up, because Kimi Räikkönen, his teammate, down in 11th, along with Sainz, Gasly, Kvyat, Ocon and Lando Norris all going out in Q2. It's time for the pole position shootout. Can we get our 2nd consecutive pole position? Well, here we come then. Up to the line, we've got an excellent exit out of the final corner. We have DRS wide open. A 140 is the first benchmark. Here we come up to the line. It's a 1:39.3, which is currently enough for pole position. Oh no, it's not, sorry. Perez has just gone quicker. I don't know what time Perez put in there, but let's have a little look on the race director. Perez has put in a 1:39.311. We put in a 1:39.326. Wow, that is so close. But it's a Jordan 1-2 at the moment. I don't know how long that is likely to stay the case, but well, we can be delighted with that. But gonna have to do a little bit of work to take pole position today. Well, Well, then here we come with 25 seconds to go in the session. Could this be our pole position lap? It's got to be absolutely inch perfect if we are indeed going to take that elusive 1-2 for Jordan, and Valtteri Bottas goes quickest. So that makes it a little bit more challenging now. Is Perez going to improve on his lap? These are all the questions that are going to be asked over the next minute and a half. We're taking everything just a little bit later than we did in the first flying lap, and you can see we're 2.5 tenths up here as we go purple through the first sector. This has been pretty strong so far, and a much better exit out of that corner than we had last time. Wow, nearly went into the wall there. That was very close. Oh, and again, just losing it a little bit through the castle section. You can see we lose 2 tenths because we didn't fly through there as we did before. It might still be enough though, who knows, as we come down into this section. Hit the braking point pretty much perfectly. No, terrible exit. Well, that's going to cost us pole position, I think, which is such a shame. And you can see losing time all the way up the straight. Well, what a shame. What a shame that is. Because I think if we'd nailed that final corner, we could have potentially done it. A 1:39.6 to finish. Third place, second and third on the grid for the Jordan GP team. I don't think we could have said worse than that, but a little mistake there just
and with qualifying complete,
final corner.
Let's review our top 3 today. Bottas, Perez and the captain. Well, that wraps up qualifying, but don't worry, we'll be back tomorrow as we head into the Grand Prix.
But there you go. I mean, Perez improved on his second lap. Couldn't quite get close to Bottas. And, you know, Mercedes turn up in Q3. That's the way it goes. But second and third on the grid for tomorrow, that has got to be a remarkable team performance, really. A 10th off Perez, yes. But, you know we made that mistake in the final corner. It's going to be really strong pace in the race. Can we get a double podium? Can we even get a 1-2? Who knows? Let's hand over to David Croft and Anthony Davidson for this year's Azerbaijan Grand Prix.
And a warm welcome to you from Azadlik Square, heart of Baku and home, of course, to the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. With high speeds, tight corners and few runoff zones, many are expecting a safety car here today, so our drivers will have to stay very much on their toes and hopefully away from the barriers. With 20 turns and a length of 3.7 miles, Baku City Circuit in the heart of the Azerbaijan capital is a real test of a driver's endurance, patience and precision. 90-degree corners through Sector 1 lead into a tightening uphill sprint as we start to circle around the old city. Then a 1.4-mile chase flat out through Sector 3 towards the finish line. Also here, of course, is Anthony Davidson. Can we talk about Mercedes? What do you make of their performance so far this season?
Well, the atmosphere within that team seems very positive at the moment. Everyone seems like they're in great spirits and having a lot of fun doing what they do, and that's definitely contributed to the performances we've seen.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The Finn starts from pole position. Sergio Perez lines up alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have the captain, Vettel, Charles Leclerc and Hamilton, Ricciardo, Stroll, Verstappen and Alexander Albon, Raikkonen, Sainz, Pierre Gasly and Kvyat, Ocon, Norris, Mick Schumacher and Nicholas Latifi. Magnussen, Grosjean, Russell and Antonio Giovinazzi starts from the back of the grid. Now, it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track.
Well, there we go then. I mean, what a qualifying session, and so great to see Jordan 2 and 3 on the grid. Valtteri Bottas, of course, in pole position, and we'll be looking to close the gap on Lewis Hamilton in the championship. Obviously Hamilton going for his 8th title this year, but hopefully we can get off the grid well and maybe make a run at it in turn 1, but who knows.
Let's continue this form and aim for another top 10 finish.
So looking at the strategy, maybe thinking come in a lap earlier. Again, we've utilised that strategy a couple of times this season and it seems to work well. So come in a lap earlier, get that undercut, and hopefully we'll be all set for the race. But here we go for the formation lap. Obviously very nice to get off the grid well.
Up to temperature on this lap. We're learning the gears, so go through them all if you can.
We tried to conserve the tyres as much as we possibly could. Oh dear, I was too busy looking at the MFD there. Well, no formation lap for us, and we would have took Perez out. That would have been hilarious if damage was on. But here we go, ready for the lights then of this Grand Prix. Lights out, away we go here in Baku, and Perez off the grid well. He's down the inside of Valtteri Bottas into the first corner, and we hold off the surge from the Ferraris behind. We get warned for our actions. I think that's a little bit harsh, but it's a good start nonetheless, and hopefully we can stay with Perez and Bottas up ahead. Somebody has caused some yellow flags behind, although it hasn't brought out any sort of safety car, but not the greatest start off the line for us. I thought Perez might have went for it into turn 1, but hopefully Bottas doesn't dance off into the distance and we severely need to hold our position behind the likes of
Let's try and move forward.
Perez there. Our tyres are cold though, so we need to warm these up as soon as possible to make sure we finish in the podium pin position today, because if we're less than a second ahead of the Ferraris behind, they're going to just take candy from a kid on the straight, and you can see already, because we struggled through that castle section, got them right behind us here. This isn't good. So, all important exit onto the pit straight, and that is an excellent exit. You cannot get better than that, and you can see that's where we've been making a lot of time this weekend, and a much better exit than the Ferraris behind, and hopefully a little bit more straight line speed, and you can see we're almost getting out of that 1 second window. That's where we need to be at. The Ferraris behind are battling, so now let's settle in and try and go after our teammate Perez. Well, as you can see guys, right behind Sergio Perez now for potentially going into second, but we are coming into the pits, so make sure we get that speed all the way down to 37 mile an hour, and we are in. And well, it is going to be interesting to see what we can pull off here.
Complete.
We're away in 2.3 seconds. That's our
Pit strategy complete.
best.
See these tyres through to the end now.
That's our best pit stop for a long time. Unfortunately, we've come out in just a little bit of traffic behind Gio, but I think the speed of that pit stop is going to help more than anything. We need to push hard on this outlap now and try and get the undercut on Perez and Bottas. Unfortunately for us, these guys have stayed out. I was kind of hoping they would come in, but a good move on George Russell there.
Nice move. Good job. Some information on Schumacher. They're slowing down. It seems like there's some kind of problem with their car.
Just got to be very careful here. We don't want to lose too much time behind Magnussen, but equally we don't want to lose our front wing. Came over to defend the inside gracefully there. But this is costing us valuable seconds here, and I think we've maybe made a mistake coming in that early I didn't expect to be caught in the traffic like this. I didn't think we were quick enough to basically get 20 seconds ahead of the field after 3 laps, but that's what's happened here.
Sergio is in for his stop.
So Perez in the pit lane. This is all going to be very important. We're right behind Kevin Magnussen now. We've got DRS, so we fly past him. Now then, Perez is coming out of the pit lane. And there he is. And he's going to come out just in front of Schumacher, so Perez has gained out of that. I don't know whether Bottas came in. That's going to be very interesting. But we need to get past Schumacher very, very quickly, otherwise Perez is going to be gone here. So the undercut hasn't worked. We're risking it. Bulldozer Hannard comes through. And we're fine. So now got to actually use this traffic to our advantage here. Try and get past Sergio. So this isn't too bad, but we need to keep an eye on our fuel levels as well. And then we're just outside the 1 second window, which is possibly going to be costly up here, but we'll try and get the slipstream, the distant tow. You can see Perez right in behind Gasly up ahead. He's on the medium tyres, so Perez needs to get past him as well. There's Bottas in the pit lane. We come round and I think we're ahead. We're ahead of Bottas. So is this, in theory, a net 1-2 for Jordan GP?
Has boxed for the mediums. Car behind on the medium tyre.
I think Bottas has just left it 1 lap too long to come in for tyres, and even though we're in traffic, we were quicker than him. Wow. Well, look at this. We're tucked in right behind Sergio Perez here. Who's tucked in right behind Pierre Gasly, and tucked in behind us is Valtteri Bottas. We're going to get DRS. Gasly's in. Gasly's coming into the pits. This is all going to be very, very interesting. Wow, we lock up and almost go into the back of Sergio Perez there. Lando Norris moves into gross second position. And we've got Danny Kvyat up leading the race. So Perez is virtually the race leader here. But I think we have to be very sensible about this and not lunge down the inside of our teammate, as it could cost us a 1-2 here. Norris going very, very slowly on his old medium tyres. It's allowed Bottas to catch up. The traffic is playing havoc here. Look at this. Look how close we are to Perez. Well, Norris is coming in, but you can see Valtteri Bottas now having a look at us down the inside, down round the outside, but we hold the inside line. A little lock up, but we are still in second position. Sorry, Perez now exposed though. He hasn't got the DRS dragging him along. Hamilton in fourth now. This is going to be an intense 5-lap sprint race to see who comes out on top. What a chance we've got though. Oh, we've saved up all of our overtake button, and you can see we are visibly closing in on Sergio here. DRS open. This has got to be our chance. Here we go. We look down the inside. He comes over to defend. No team orders in this team, but we're into the lead. We are into the lead of this Baku Grand Prix. Perez obviously now has the DRS. Bottas is in there as well. There goes Perez. Back for the lead. Unbelievable. Bottas having a look down the inside. Oh, wow, that was close. We sort of had to take avoiding action because Bottas was steaming down the inside. This is crazy. What a race. Well, Vettel is out of the session. That is huge for this Grand Prix. This time we have a look around the outside of Perez and once again we're through. Once again we are through into the lead of the Grand Prix. Bottas, meanwhile, is 2 seconds behind. Perez not close enough this time, I don't think, although he is closing in. But now we are the lead car. We are leading the race. We are leading the Jordan 1-2. Can you believe it? Well, coming up to the line, 2 laps to go. We've got no energy left in the car. Just about saved enough fuel so that we can finish the race. Perez within a second here, but probably not close enough to make a move here, although we didn't get the best exit there. Taking an inside defensive line, picked the braking point absolutely perfectly, so it's looking good. Just got to make sure we're a second ahead by the time we get to that kilometre long straight.
There's only 1 lap of fuel remaining.
Well, on to the final lap of this Grand Prix then, and you can see Sergio Perez was closing in fast there. We just have to nail the rest of our braking zones and we're going to win our first Grand Prix. We're going to have a Jordan 1-2. However, Bottas will have something to say about that. He's still in the running to win this race. Heck, Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc are in this race. This has been absolutely insane how close the times have been all weekend between the 5 of us. Obviously Vettel involved in that as well, but Vettel out of this Grand Prix. It's unlucky for him, but lucky for us. Now then, the fight behind seems to have given us a little bit of a gap here. That's an excellent exit out of that corner. Obviously we're heading up towards the DRS detection zone up here. Perez right behind. Is Perez going to win his first Grand Prix? Are we going to win our first Grand Prix for Jordan? This is so intense. One of us is going to win it. Who's it going to be? We've got rich fuel mix right up to the line. Overtake mode. I think we might just be able to hang on. But here comes Perez. It's a drag race up to the line, but we win it. We've won the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. And Perez finishes second. A Jordan 1-2. Absolutely amazing. We get driver of the day as well. Wow, what a race that was.
Here we are then, it's victory in Azerbaijan. Great work from the whole team here at the track and back at the factory as well. And some pretty handy driving for good measure. So Anthony, what made the difference out there today?
I think that smart tyre management on track and very smooth driving definitely assisted in their victory today. That combination meant they got the absolute maximum out of their tyres at all times.
Wow, what a result for us. top step of the podium, and wow, Perez just behind on the racetrack as well. You couldn't want any more, and
looks so incredibly happy.
well, there we are.
They make their way up to the podium. A much-deserved victory and a brilliant performance from them all.
Brilliant. And Bottas finishes third, but it's all about us two. Perez and Hannard, the first Jordan 1-2 in over 2 decades. Absolutely amazing.
Let's see what effect this result has had on the drivers' standings. It wasn't the best weekend for our championship leader, and their advantage at the top has been reduced. So, Anthony Davidson, who would you rank as your driver of the day?
I have to give it to the captain. Look at where they finished compared to where they started. It's not easy to cut through the field like that in Formula One, so it was a great effort.
It's time to check out the Constructor Standings. Mercedes continue to extend their lead. Meanwhile, good work from the owner-drivers team this weekend, who pushed themselves further up the order. Well, Ant, an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.
Well, look at that. We're up to third in the Constructors. Absolutely amazing. And up to sixth in the Drivers' Championship. Only 90 points behind Lewis Hamilton. That's only 4 race victories. If Lewis Hamilton didn't win them all, of course. But there you go. What a fabulous Grand Prix. The top 5 within 2 seconds. Daniel Ricciardo, again, an excellent result for Renault, up in 6th. He must be 5th in the Drivers at least. No, he's actually below us, believe it or not. He's had a fabulous season so far. Stroll, an excellent 7th for Racing Point. Kimi Räikkönen in the points as well, with Sainz and Kvyat, the other 2 there. Max Verstappen finishing outside the points, and Albon. So a really terrible weekend for the Red Bull team. I suppose their engine isn't really up to it, and Vettel out of the race, but what a fantastic performance to win the Grand Prix, and only a 1/10 of a second behind us was Sergio Perez in 2nd. What does that man have to do to win a Grand Prix, I hear you ask? But let's head on and see if we get any sort of special
the fans really seem to enjoy that
interview or whatever.
You took the top points today. Was it a comfortable win?
Was the car's just so solid it can take whatever I give it. There you go. Brilliant.
Your team secured the top 2 positions. Is it safe to say you're a winning combination?
Winning in every sense of the word. There you go.
Well, looks like your luck has changed. Things went a lot better than last weekend, didn't they?
I mean, I don't think that's the case. It's been a wonderful few weeks.
With how you're performing.
I do, just to see the smiles on their faces. There you go. But what a brilliant weekend for us. Obviously 2 and 3 on the grid, narrowly missing out on pole position. But as I said, I think this run all the way up to Monza is going to be such a strong part of the season for us. We beat Vettel in all 5 of those points. I mean, Vettel apparently got a penalty as well. The team Acclaim should surely jump a lot further than that after winning its first Grand Prix, but there you go. A great amount of money there. I didn't actually see who got fastest lap. Was it Perez or was it us? I can't quite remember, but there you go. Heading back to the team headquarters, we've got Canada next, which Canada, I mean, is my favourite track. I'm almost imagining that we're going to absolutely dominate that Grand Prix. But I tell you what, I wouldn't complain at all. Unfortunately, our engine upgrade has not went through, so let's go and quickly sort that out. We can get that just after the Canadian Grand Prix, so that'll help us a little bit. Don't think we've got anything else due. Actually, we've got the major aerodynamic upgrade due just before the Grand Prix weekend, which is good. I'll show you guys the activities that we put in, so we can put some G-force training. I think that's probably what we want. Or do we... No, we'll do the sponsor event to get a little bit more acclaim. I think that's Always very important. Now, I'm trying to save all of my money for the contract renegotiations, because we want Perez to stay, obviously. So need as much money in the bank as possible. We got the fastest lap, actually. I think we did that pretty early in the Grand Prix, so it must never have been beaten, which is a bit of a surprise. But so 26 points from that Grand Prix and 44 for the team. Wow, what a Grand Prix! And hopefully you've enjoyed it. Make sure you hit the thumbs up button if you did. It really does help out. It means a lot to me as well. Subscribe to the channel for daily F1 2020 content. Remember, let me know down in the comments, would you like to see it go by daily? And I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.